Hi, I'm Chris Cunnane, Research Director for Supply Chain Management at ARC Advisory Group. Joining me today is John Delligatti, Director of Digital Supply Chain Transformation at SDI. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
How did the pandemic impact your business and the MRO space in general?
Well, what the pandemic did was really shine a light on something that supply chain professionals would tell you is second nature, is that the supply chain is a chain, and it's only as strong as its weakest link, right? So when geopolitical events, when the pandemic struck, things that you would expect to happen didn't happen. Parts that would typically arrive in 5 days, you might get a lead time of 5 weeks. And that's enough to get the attention of senior leadership and really shine a light on supply chain as mission critical to these organizations.
With supply chain disruptions becoming more common and more frequent, what trends are you seeing unfold right now?
Well, there's been a mindset shift, especially from technicians and ground floor folks, from just in time to just in case. We understand that organizations don't want to have a lot of working capital tied up in inventory, but if you have an asset go down because of a part you were missing, you're probably going to order two, so it doesn't happen again, right? So it's that idea of how do we balance that and how do we prepare for future disruptions by learning from the lessons of the past.
What is the impact of real-time data in supply chain?
Well, think about it from the business to consumer experience that we all know. We order a part online, we see it go through the process, and then it shows up at our door when we expect. That's not the case in MRO. That's not the case in indirect supply chain. If you need a gear or a widget and you only buy it from one supplier, the information is only as good as they'll provide you, right? So what real-time data does is it makes it possible for you to understand if a part's running late, when it's running late, and how to plan around that. Your team of engineers won't show up on Monday with no work to do because the part's missing.
Well, that's definitely some powerful stuff there. So what does that mean to the labor force?
So when you think about how the pandemic also affected the labor force, you think about there's a skilled labor gap where folks who've been doing these jobs forever are leaving. The companies are doing layoffs or they're exiting the workforce just due to age. And the younger folks aren't picking up those jobs at the same rate that they were in the past. So you're losing that expertise. The knowledge is leaving the building faster than it can be replaced. So if we can use technologies, if we can use data of our past transactional histories, other supplier catalogs to shop for parts automatically rather than wasting time shopping for parts. It's estimated that 25% of a tech's time is spent shopping for parts. Should they be a professional shopper 1 day a week? It doesn't make any sense. So if we leverage this data, and provide that as sort of a tool to inform the new workforce that's coming in, we can get speed to execution based on real data.
So how do you recommend a company start this journey, and what advice can you give for the future?
You said the magic word, you have to start, right? Organizations that were on this journey, especially before the pandemic, are much better prepared to deal with these disruptions than organizations that haven't started anywhere. And whether that means you go through your inventory and look at every single part and catalog it and pay for it to get enhanced. Hey, I'm a data guy. I would love that in every situation. The reality of the situation is you might not have the support for that. It could be as simple as every transaction, I want a manufacturer name, I want a part number, I want a person associated with it. If you just start there, in 6 months, you'd be amazed at what you learn, right? And it's because you started. If you don't want to do that, you reach out to your suppliers. You say, hey, give me my transactional history with a part number so I can understand what I'm buying. You can see that I'm not telling you there's a silver bullet. I'm just telling you got to start. And the pandemic, what it did is accelerate the pace of change that was expected from these companies. And if you haven't started, you're going to be left in the dust. You mentioned real-time data and what it can impact. Another area real-time data can impact beyond lead time is pricing. So inflation is a very hot topic. I know it's cooled recently, but if you look at any of the producer price indexes, anything from safety to electrical, prices are up from where they were in the past, significantly. How do we deal with that? If we have the data that helps us understand, the last time I bought this widget, it was $5, and now it's $15, I'm logically going to question that. And now listen, due to limitations, maybe I won't have another source available, but if I know the second I place that purchase order that I'm taking a bath on the order, I can change it. If I find out when the invoice comes, it's too late. So it's the idea that real-time data, it doesn't just provide you with information faster, it provides you with information where you can have speed to execution, where you can act on that information in a meaningful way and be proactive and fix something, take an opportunity before it becomes a problem.
So would you say that by using this real-time data, you can extend where that point of no return is then within the order?
Yeah, I would say so, right? So you can extend that point of no return. I like that phraseology, right? When they confirm back that price that you don't like, when they confirm back that due date you don't like, you don't have to sit there and eat it, right? If you have the data, you're saying, hey, we have an agreement that says you're going to give this to me in 5 days. And listen, it's a piece of paper, I understand. But really, these are service levels that are expected. And if they start to falter, if you have the data to back it up, you'll have information on that. You can have a supplier scorecard that would tell you, hey, this supplier that's typically a high performer that we spend a ton of money with, we're supposed to have these orders, 95% of them on time. And you know what? We're only getting 75% of them on time, right? These are conversations that are had at quarterly business reviews and things of that sort. But if they're not backed by data, it doesn't mean much. We need to improve. If you're publishing, here's a scorecard, here's how you do, and here's what we expect, it makes the conversation much more real. And frankly, it removes any perceived animosity. It's here's the facts, what are we going to do about it? So you can collaborate better. So when you combine all that together, it enables you to provide that holistic view of the supply chain where you look at your history and you understand the answers to questions more quickly, and you know about a problem as it happens or before it happens. And when you combine those, you get results.
I think that's definitely some good advice. And I want to thank you for joining me today and sharing your insights.
Thanks, Chris. Pleasure.
I'm Chris Cunnane. Thank you for watching.